Why don't we start? Hopefully we can figure out what's going on with the host command. And I certainly appreciate you taking the time and effort to offer a host, Sweet Pea Geek. And Fluffy, thank you for trying to diagnose the problem as well. You think it's worked? If you tap the stream video, you should get some icons. There's a little curved arrow one. That one pops up a menu with a host in it. Uh-oh. My battery is... The battery in my headphones being a little upset. Do I have my battery pack over here? Hopefully. Hopefully. However, it seems that I can hope in one hand and do something in the other, and that one filled up first. Alright, well... Oh, actually, it is here. Haha, go me. I moved it because it was finished charging, and I said, I don't need this in my way. I'm just going to set it over here, and I set it so far out of the way that I didn't see it initially. Ah. Ta-da! Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got to give the sheep some... now, you got to be careful, though. Like, you'll build up kind of a static... like a static charge, and then poof, it'll be a big old floof. A floof! Okay. We are going to delve into character creation in Pathfinder Second Edition Playtest. Now, last week we spent 4 days after our roleplay session on Tuesday to delve into the rules of Pathfinder, to explore it, to provide commentary. We were comparing it to D&D 5th Edition and some other role-playing games too, as the conversation moved here and there. That you could be stuck to the wall with a balloon. Yeah. Oh, all right, Sweet Pea. Be well. Thank you for stopping by. Northern Hemisphere love down to you. So we explored the rules last week. All of those are listed up, by the way. It's now, you can look in past content in our Discord, or you can visit the YouTubes. And over 10 parts, we explored the world of Pathfinder. And when we reached the end, I was mixed. Because Pathfinder, being Pathfinder as its own entity, is a very complex system. Or Pathfinder it gives you many options, right? You can choose bits and bobs about every part of your character. And for some, that they love that choice, and they love the freedom to be able to go through, and you know where D&D says, okay, you're a human. Here's what all humans get. In Pathfinder, it says you're a human. All right, well here's a starting point, and you can get some feats and other things and go from there. And then on top of that, it's are you a barbarian? Okay, well, not all barbarians are going to be the same or travel down the same path, similar to D&D. Instead, you can choose a barbarian base, and then you get a lot of feats. So you get class feats and racial feats, although they're called ancestry feats. And there's a rule for everything. There's a rule and a role for everything in Pathfinder. And so that's why we have a character sheet that, which by the way is landscape oriented, not portrait. And so here's page 1 of the Pathfinder sheet as compared to here's page 1 of D&D. Opal Dragon is a crystal dragon tar, as in like a minotaur, like a. Are you a beefy dragon? And even if we compare this to the revamped character sheet that we tend to use on the stream, which looks it certainly looks more complex than your standard issue D&D character sheet here. You know, things are reorganized, a little better tracked. We can see the differences between the systems here, and all of the things that you'll need to keep track of over the course of your adventure with your character. Oh, like a centaur. Got it. A centaur, but a dragon and living crystal. So the torso of a human, or at least a humanoid, the lower bits of a dragon, but you're altogether made of a living crystal, like a statue. Interesting concept, Opal Dragon. And by the way, opal is a very pretty substance. Oh, you can look at it that way too, Fluffy. All right, so I'm going to go back to the character creation section, and we're going to go through this step by step. I have a form-fillable version of the playtest character sheet, and we're going to start by making... I don't know, I'm not going to go random this time, at least not tonight. I think we're going to start, and we're going to make average human fighter, all right? It's a bread and butter over in D&D. Let's try making a standard human fighter first in Pathfinder, and we'll see where that takes us. And then for the following evenings, when we're making some characters, I can refer to... I could try and whip up a random character guide, and we can follow that. Alright, many of the steps below instruct you to fill out fields on your character sheet, but note that the character sheet is arranged for ease of use during gameplay rather than the order of steps for character creation. Additionally, the fields that appear on character sheets are comprehensive, and not all characters necessarily have something to put in each field. If you don't, then leave it blank. If you're creating a higher level character, it's a good idea to begin with these instructions before progressing to page 278. Okay, determine your character's concept. What sort of hero do you want to play? The answer to this question might be as simple as a brave warrior, or as complicated as the child of elven wanderers who raised this character in a majority human city devoted to Serenre, the Dawnflower, and goddess of the sun. During this step, it's a good idea to decide the general thrust of your character's personality, sketching out a few details about her past, and thinking about how and why she adventures. You'll likely want to pursue Pathfinder's available ancestries, backgrounds, and classes. The tables on page 13 might also help you match your concept, and we'll be referencing those. Below are a number of ways you could approach creating your character concept. Once you have a good idea of the type of character you'd like to play, move on to step 2. Ability scores we'll get to on 18. So the concept, we can come up with a concept. Normally, that's what we delve into first. A rich background, we create a three-dimensional character. And not that we can't here, but for our very first character creation, I want to focus on the mechanics and on the methodology of building a character so that we can become more accustomed to it and acclimate ourselves to the process. All right, so the following tables provide at-a-glance information for those looking to optimize their starting ability scores. For entries in Table 1... When you put the word optimize, it seems to want to encourage optimization and care up and min-maxing and these are... Nope, stop it. Stop. Bad. Bad. No grumbles. Or very few grumbles. I'm going to put myself on a grumble budget. For entries in 1-1, ancestries that say free, you can choose which ability score receives the provided ability boost. This table also indicates any ability flaws that ancestry might have. Okay. So, by the way, we're skipping ahead real quick here. We have... all the abilities start with 10, as a heads up. Da-da-da-da. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Keep that page and scrolling. Here we are. I'll try and zoom in a little bit. All right. So humans are incredibly diverse in terms of everything from their body size to their perspectives and personalities. Free and free indicates that we are going to get +2 to any 2 of our ability scores. And because we're not getting +2 to 3, which is going to be then taken back with an ability flaw of -2, we can just put 2 points into whatever we want. If we're going to be making a fighter, I imagine that 2 points into strength and 2 points into con are going to be a wise decision. And hopefully you can see what's going on the on the PDF here. Okay, we're going to make a fighter. The fighter's a master of weapons, martial techniques, and powerful attack combos. The key ability score is Dex or Strength, and the secondary ability score is Constitution. So we will want to keep an eye on those, and we have our Strength and our Con already up. So, step 2, we've chosen an ancestry. We are at least partially human. And I say that because being a half-elf or a half-orc are ancestry options for humans. We could have an intellectual fighter. We fight with our minds, our brains. We bring chessboards with us to the battlefield and individually engage on this secondary field of combat our enemy with honor and strategy. Ancestry affects your character's ability scores, total hit points, size, speed, languages, and much more. Additionally, at first level, your character receives an ancestry feat that represents an ability or quality she was born with or trained in at an early age. So our ancestry is, we are playing a human. There we go. And we can fill in some other, I mean, our size is medium and such, but I want to take this one step at a time. Choose a background. Okay, we'll get to background. Choose a class. Yes. Finalize your ability scores. So I need information. I need info, and then we'll come back up here. Okay, ancestry. So start with 10. We did that. Start our ancestry ability boosts and flaws. We've done that. We have no flaws because we're a human being and we're perfect. Oh, for example, let's say you're making a human character and you want her to be a fighter. Human characters receive 2 free ability boosts, and you want to make a fighter who bashes skulls and can take a beating. For that, you want a good strength and con. Remember that you can't apply multiple ability boosts from the same source to a score at a time. Step 3, 2 background ability boosts. Once you've applied your character's ability boosts and ability flaw, if any, from her ancestry, it's time to apply her ability boosts from her background. Descriptions of Pathfinder's character backgrounds begin on page 38. The background you choose gives your character 2 ability boosts. Usually this consists of 1 free ability boost and 1 ability boost limited to certain choices by the background. Let's say you want your human fighter to have been a hard-working farmhand in her past. The farmhand background says your character gets an ability boost that must be applied to either Constitution or Wisdom. You want your fighter to be hardy, so you pick Constitution. Next, for your character's free ability boost, you decide to keep increasing your strength. Now your ability scores are the following. So what we can do now, we have our... Let's go to our background on 38. And it looks like Diadem's could be an intellectual fighter. You have a knack for learning, and from a young age, you sequestered yourself from the outside world to learn all that you could. You've read about so many wondrous places and settings in your books, and you've always dreamed about one day seeing the real things. Eventually, that curiosity led you to leave your studies and become an adventurer. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to int or whiz, and the other is a free. So that could be something. We could be a scholar. We could be... Oh, I guess scholar might be the only... Or maybe even a noble, an intellectual fighter. To the common folk, the life of a noble seems the one of idyllic luxury, but growing up as a noble or member of the aspiring gentry, you know the reality. A noble's lot is obligation and intrigue. Let's use Diadem's suggestion here, and we will apply the scholar background. Scholar is going to give us 1 to int, or a +2 to int or whiz, and a freebie. So why don't we drop the freebie into strength, because that will be important. And then if we're going to be an intellectual fighter, let's increase our intelligence to 12. There we go. Now we're going to hop back to 19. Oh, actually, there was something else we got from our background. Let's hop back to 38. Choose Arcana, Nature, Occultism, or Religion. You gain the Assurance skill feat in your chosen skill. You're trained in the Academia lore skill. Okay. So lore is Academia. And we have the Assurance skill feat in your chosen skill. Okay, here's our background skill feat. This is Assurance, and we'll make him an intellectual fighter. So I guess we'll make Assurance Arcana. Does that seem reasonable? All right, now we go back to 19. For free ability boosts, after you've chosen your character's ancestry and background, you have 4 free ability boosts you can assign to her ability scores as you see fit. These represent your character's variety of experiences growing up before she became an adventurer. Let's take the sample human fighter from above. We know you want your fighter to be strong, so you decide to spend one of the steps free ability boost on strength. Dexterity is important for defense, so you put one into dex. You want to keep making your fighter tough, so you apply an ability boost to Constitution too. Wisdom affects your defense against most mental magic, and since a strong, tough fighter is the last person you want controlled by some evil wizard, you decide to put your last ability boost in the Wisdom. All right, so now we're going to assign our. We get our 4 freebies here. So yeah, let's put one in Strength. Let's put one in Con. I guess a high defense is good because Wisdom is our will save. And you know what? We're gonna make him a smarty still, and let's give him a 14 int. So there's our 4 freebies. One class ability boost. Finally, your choice of your character's class will give you 1 ability boost in a score that's important to your class's abilities. This ability score is called your class's key ability. Most of the class write-ups in Chapter 3 indicate a specific score you apply. Indicate a specific score you apply this ability boost to when you choose that class. But some let you select from 1 or 2 choices. Because our sample character is a fighter, you get to choose from Strength or Dex for your character's class ability boost. Your character's dexterity isn't doing so hot, and it might be a liability, but you don't want to miss out on having a strength score of 18, so that's where you put your final ability boost. And I think that putting something in Strength would be wise. So let's put our class bump into Strength, and there we go. Our Strength score is 18. And then we record ability scores and modifiers. Alrighty, so at an 18, that is a +4. It's going to be a +2, +1, +0, +2, and +0. Alright, so there are steps if you want to roll for your stats here in Pathfinder. But we're going with, I guess, what you could consider to be a standard build. You know, in D&D you have the standard array, or even a point buy, and this is a little bit more piecemeal. Like, here's your Legos, and you make your Legos into what you want them to look like. Alright, ancestries. And yes, by the way, half-elves and half-orcs are human ancestries. Alright, so we are not Darvs, nor Gobos, nor Hobbitses. Here we go. We are humans. Let's see, languages, we get common, and 1 additional language selected from those to which you have access. At first level, if your intelligence score is 14 or higher, hey, which it is, you can also select one of the languages from the list of common languages on page 40 or from other languages you have access to. Okay, we can look that up. That's, I don't know. Right now, let's just say we know Elven and Dwarven. Nice standard fantasy languages. Traits, we are human and humanoid. Medium. I guess we'll just put medium. Level 1. Every level is 1,000 experience points. Class, fighter. Alright, now we have these traits. Class feats and features, ancestry feats, bonus feats, general feats, seal feats, equipment. That's for spells. Okay, so I guess there's not really a place on here. We'll just remember we're humans, so we have the traits of human and humanoid. Unless I'm missing something here. Our speed is 25 feet. Here we go. Speed. And hit points is 8. Traits is on the bottom. Well, there's there are, but it seems to be a trait of the action or activity, or the reaction, and the free actions. You say top right of character sheet traits. Well, so everything has a trait to it. Well, almost everything, right? So this is the trait of this kind of a ranged strike. Or this is a trait that is riding on the heels of this melee ability. Just like you have the trait of this action or activity, or the trait of this reaction and reaction. There is a lot of micromanagement, a lot of detail that is in Pathfinder Second Edition. And so that, I think that is part of what can cause the confusion, or, well, it says something, so there should be a slot for it, and if there's not a slot for it, then why isn't there a slot for it? Is it not important? Is it important? Etc. Katie Sue, you're lurking? Alright, well, lurk away. Have fun. Enjoy. Thank you very much for stopping in and saying hi to us. Katie, for everyone here, Katie does broadcast content as well, including a D&D game that she's the DM of. Okay, for this character, I'm not interested in fluff. So all these different ethnicities, it doesn't really matter. All right, I'm not worried about making a half-orc or half-elf. I just want a generic human fighter for our first character, for our practice run. Hey, Sweet Pea is back. Oh, well, thank you, Katie Sue. At first level, you gain 1 ancestry feat, and you gain an additional ancestry feat every 4 levels thereafter. As a human, you choose from among the following ancestry feats: adapted spell, clever improviseur, cooperative nature, general training, or you could take half elf or half orc. Haughty obstinacy, natural ambition, skilled, or unconventional weaponry. I don't know. Let's see. We're building kind of generic human fighter. Curious, has anyone ever made spoken words for spells, etc., etc.? I want to bump up my RP game. So we have a community member who is running a bard, and for the verbal component for Tasha's hideous laughter, he wrote down like several pages in a notebook of dad jokes. And so every time he cast Tasha's hideous laughter, he would reference one of his dad jokes as the verbal component. Use sections of poems for your bard spells. Yeah, stuff like that is, magic words. You could look up elven words or draconic, at least in this theater up here. Draconic is kind of like the mother tongue. It's like the Latin, the lingua franca of magic, or just of the other languages that have come to be. And so you might have Draconic be your Latin or your magic base, and you could probably find references. You could. Yeah, there's a lot of options. All right, so we don't need to worry about adapted spell. We're running generic fighter for this first character. You've learned how to handle situations when you're out of your depth. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to skill checks in which you're untrained. That could be pretty good. Cooperative nature. A short human lifespan lends perspective and has taught you from a young age to set aside differences and work together to achieve greatness. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your check when you use the aid reaction or the assist action. Your adaptability manifests in your mastery of a range of useful abilities. You gain a first level general feat. So we could swap our racial feat for a general feat, is what it seems. Alright, and then we're not taking half elf or half orc. Your powerful ego makes it harder for others to order you around. If you succeed on a saving throw against a mental effect that attempts to directly control your actions, you critically succeed instead. If a creature fails to coerce you using the intimidation skill, it treats the result as a critical failure instead, and so can't coerce you again for a week. You're raised to be ambitious and always reach for the stars, causing you to progress quickly in your chosen field. Gain a first level class feat for your class. Your ingenuity allows you to train in a wide variety of skills. You become trained in 2 skills of your choice. And for more about skills, jump to 142. Or you familiarize yourself with a weapon from another ancestry or culture. You gain access to an uncommon weapon with the ancestry of your choice. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's another good idea, Katie Sue. Also, hello, Coffee Cat. GM Vault. By the way, GM, it's good to see you again. I hope that you've been well. You can use a foreign language and you're familiar with as well. French, German, Italian. Yes. Yes. Katie Sue, when I use Blight, I use a part from Goblin Men. We must not look at Goblin Men. We must not eat their fruit. Who knows upon what soil they fed, their long and thirsty roots. And then, of course, Blight goes off and kills all the plants. Hey, that's fine, GM. Look, you got to work, pay your bills, do what you got to do. I'm around, right? We always say consistency is the last boss of D&D. As much as I can, I try and be consistent, so that whenever you can pop by, even if it's just to say hi and dip, that's perfectly fine. Yes, Kalania, we're in week 2 of the Pathfinder Second Edition Playtest. And so in our first week, we were reviewing the rules and such, and now we're making a character using those rules. All right, so let's just become trained in... let's become trained in 2 skills of our choice. Let's actually become trained in Arcana. Whoops. Because that's where we have our scholarship. And then probably I guess athletics. Link to the character sheet. I did not make a special one here. But Kalania, here, I can produce the link. Form fillable. Pathfinder sheet. 2E. Here we go. Here's the form fillable one, because the PDF that you get off of Paizo's website, because you can download this playtest book and everything for free. It's not form fillable, and the character sheet is also naturally supposed to be presented in landscape form, but in the PDF it's in portrait. See, it's not a hard manipulation, but it's not the most convenient for what we're trying to do on the channel. So there is the link for the form fillable sheet that I'm using right now. You've never seen a Pathfinder sheet before, says the flannel pug. Well, this is, when we're doing a comparison. So here's 5th edition D&D, and here's the revamped 5th edition D&D that we often use. It looks more complex, but it's a reordering, right? You take your ability and then you break up the skills, and a lot of this stuff is still the same, right? Look. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. But here, we'll zoom out. There we go. So here's the character sheet for Pathfinder 2e playtest. Yeah, the revamped one, I prefer this version as well, Coffee Cat. Alright, so we took our human. We took our human racial feat. You will add your character's constitution modifier and the hit points provided by your class to this number. Okay, so calculating hit points. Let's go back to page 14. Shows a background. Alright, so we have a class. It governs how easily you can... Alright, we finalize our ability scores. Apply your class. Now record all the benefits and class features that your character receives from the class you've chosen. Your character's class determines her key ability score, affects her total hit points, outfits her with various initial proficiencies, provides her signature skills, and grants her class features and feats. Now it's a good time to note the TEML fields that appear throughout your character sheet, standing for Trained, Expert, Master, and Legendary, respectively. These fields indicate your character's proficiency and determine which modifier your character applies to dice rolls and DCs when using certain mechanics. Okay, so we need to look at Fighter. That's Bard. Clerics. Whoop. We went too far. We're at monks. Alright, here's our fighter. Our hit points are going to be 10 plus our Constitution modifier. Our Constitution modifier is 2, so we're adding 12 hit points to our human 8. And so our hit point, we have a max 20 at first level. Hey, Weeb Hunter, just finished our character sheet for Pathfinder yesterday. Well, so if I end up missing something, you are welcome to shout it out and let me know if I've missed something important. Seems to be better. Seems better organized to me, and also has selections for dark vision and expertise. Yes. Yep. I agree, Coffee Cat. That's why we use that on the channel, because I don't mind using the basic one, or if we have someone who's brand new to D&D, this one does appear to be a lot more simple. But for most of what we're doing, I really enjoy the revamped version. Hey, Bubonic. Okay, in perception, we are an expert. Hi, Technotron. We're doing well. We're getting through creating our first character in Pathfinder TUE playtest. A human fighter, right? Bread and butter stuff. We're an expert in fortitude, okay? We are an expert in reflex, and we are trained in will as a saving throw. We're trained in a number of skills equal to 3 plus your intelligence modifier. Well, because we are playing a Smarty Pants, so we're going to get training in 5 skills. So let's choose 5 other skills that we would like to have training in. Probably... Let's see, he was a scholar. So probably Arcana and Occultism. So there's that. Society. Training in Lore, 3. I guess acrobatics for some more athleticism, 4. And then, what else do we want to give him? Maybe medicine. There we go. Uh-oh. Onicha the Weeb Hunter going into the Underdark. A Quaggoth appears. So you attack normally, so that's 1d20. 14 plus 5 is 19. And you have defeated the Quaggoth and get 2,500 experience. Nice. You can actually do a random epic with this. Yeah, I saw Technotron. Thank you very much for doing so. Which, yeah, by the way, I would suggest you all go over to our YouTube section in our Discord and check out Technotron's video he made about handling difficult RP situations and making a ruling. Okay, Dark Wolf. All right, so we made so there's our hit points, and yes, plus our human one brought us up to 20. We have our skills. Weapons. We have expert in all simple and martial, and we're trained in all exotics. Simple, we're experts. Martial, we're experts. And all exotic. Weapons, we are trained. Armor, we're trained in all armor and shields. And our signature skills are acrobatics, athletics, and crafting. I am not sure offhand what signature skill does for us. Indicate which skills are your character's signature skills and choose which skills your character is trained in, but don't worry about finalizing the total modifiers. Okay. So it's going to be acrobatics, athletics, and crafting. Aha, gotcha. And hello, Kramer. Okay, I'm not really worried about the fluff here, so let's continue. I know this is weird, right? We're not worried about fluff at this point in time, but I want to understand the mechanics of how to build a character before then we can start adding on the nice, you know, the whipped marshmallow cream on top of the crunchy graham cracker of the character. Pardon. You gain these abilities as a fighter. Abilities gained at higher levels list the requisite levels next to it. Scholar, bubonic one. Alright, so we are going to get attack of opportunity, which by its exclusion to fighter is not something that's always available to people. So I guess that's going to be over here, as this is a reaction. Attack of opportunity. Traits, fighter. And the trigger is a creature in reach, moves, manipulates. Oh, there's a whole bunch. Alright, so the trigger, a bunch of words on page 87. That's the trigger. Okay. Make a melee strike against the triggering creature at a -2 penalty. If the attack hits and the trigger was a manipulate action, you disrupt that action. The strike doesn't count toward your multiple attack penalty. Okay. At first level and every even-numbered level thereafter, you gain a fighter class feat. And those are on page 89. All right, so we're going to get a fighter feat also. And skill feats, well, we're not second level yet. So we don't need to worry about that. All right, so let's go to weapon mastery, general feats. Yeah, so as we level up here. So we have our ancestry feat, attack of opportunity, our background, our fighter feat, and initial proficiencies. So let's continue here and choose our fighter feat. Make a strike. It gains the following enhancement and failure effects. Until the end of your next turn, as long as the target is within your reach, it's flat-footed. If it leaves your reach, this effect ends. Until the start of your next turn, as long as the target is within your reach, it's flat-footed. Double Slice takes 2 actions, and you must be wielding 2 weapons. Furious Focus, make a strike. The strike gains the following failure effect. This attack does not count toward your multiple attack penalty. That's not, I guess that's not too bad, right? We use Furious Focus. And so we make a strike as part of that, and then if it fails, and we want to use another action to swing again, that first one didn't count as an attack, and so we won't take a -5 penalty to the secondary swing. That might not be a bad one. So let's come down here. Whoops, our ancestry was skilled. Class feats and features. I guess attack of opportunity goes here as a feature. Also. So attack of opportunity, and we're going to take Furious Focus so that we're not penalized for doing our job. And I think that does it for first level. Oh, I guess we got to get some equipment and stuff first. Apply your class. Determine... Oh, yeah. We still have some math to do. Hang on. I'm jumping the gun. Onichi and the Weeb Hunter says, I only start worrying about fluff when I start choosing feats because I want things that match my background and aren't just completely useless. I agree with that. I agree with that, Weeb Hunter, and I think it's both an interesting feature and a downfall of this system. Because from the get-go, you are made to feel useless. Because everything that you can do is put out before you, and as soon as you choose one thing you can do, the other things you can't do. And that was one of my biggest gripes in our summary of the rules last week. Delcorin, I want a fighter feat that lets me instantly turn animals into slabs of meat when defeated. It's easier for making jerky. Yeah, Kalania, everything in Pathfinder is about feats. Everything is micromanaged. You get ancestry feats, you get class feats, and if you don't like class feats, you can choose archetype feats or prestige feats. And then there's skill feats and general feats. So Pathfinder is a bunch of loose Legos that you can dump out in front of you and build something with. Feats weigh heavily, but it's also where you see a lot of power gaming. Oni-chan, I do agree. I think that this system is built for power gamers and min-maxers and care-ops. Personally, that's not my preferred style of play. I mean, if you all do it out there, I don't have anything against you. I don't lose any sleep. I mean, when the rules themselves are encouraging you to optimize your character and use the word optimize, that's just sort of like, all right. So are we role playing, or are we just having a session of will it blend? You know, like, is your character a living, breathing thing, or is it just simply a vehicle for modifiers and random number generation? Yes, Bubonic One. So for our first level human feat, I chose the skilled feat, and so we took training and 2 other skills. Hey, Cameron, good to see you. Thank you for popping by. Cameron, by the way, also broadcasts content. Lately, you've been playing 7 Days to Die, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that your survival has been strong. All right, now if you noted which skills are signature skills for your character and decided in which skills she's trained in, it's time to calculate the modifiers. In the second box to the right of each skill name on your character sheet, there's an abbreviation that reminds you of the ability score tied to the skill. When you attempt checks using a skill, add the indicated ability modifier to your to your proficiency modifier, if any, as well as any other applicable modifiers, bonuses, and penalties. Okay, so, boy, if there was an like an automatic, like a calculator built into this would be very handy. All right. So, we're going to do this one thing at a time. Our strength is athletics. And that's it. There's no con skills. Wisdom's a +1. Dexterity's in a couple here. Intelligence. And charisma. Which, by the way, instead of occultism here, I'm going to move that over to crafting, since that was an int-based skill that I didn't see. And we are a smarty pants fighter, as Diadems had suggested. And our charisma is going to drop into these remaining skills here. Oh, I missed an intelligence. Fantasy Grounds has an early free version of this rule set already, drag and drop character generation. I think that would make character generation a whole lot easier, Kalania. It just doesn't fix the system in which the character exists. Yeah, Cameron, you said that you'd stop by. Oh yeah, we're doing good. I see you're making character. It looks like I came in. Yeah, we are making our first character in the Pathfinder Second Edition Playtest version. And we're making a generic human fighter. I mean, it's bread and butter role play, role play fare. Usher, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let me, for what we're doing here, I'm gonna drop that because this is a very PDF intensive. One second, let me find it here. Okay. Thank you for the reminder on that, Usher. All right, now with our proficiency, if you are untrained, that's a -2. Hang on. If you're untrained, let's see, equals to your level -2. All right, so anything we're untrained in, we're going to get a -1. And then if we're trained, we are going to get a +1. All right. If we're an expert, it's our level +1. Oh, but that goes up here. Well, armor proficiencies doesn't really measure. All right, so not really worried about that, I guess. Over here, though, for fortitude, so our level +1, this is going to be a +2. A +2 and a +1. Okay. And we are not expert in any skills. We're just trained. So I think we're caught up so far. Buy equipment. At first level, your character has 150 silver pieces to spend on armor, weapons, and other basic equipment. Armor and weapons are often the most important. Your character's class lists the types of weapons and armor she's proficient with. Her weapon determines how much damage she deals in combat, and her armor influences her armor class. But these calculations are covered in more detail in Step 9. Don't neglect essentials such as food and traveling gear. For more on the equipment available and how much it costs, see Chapter 6. Alright, so we have... Oh, we're expert, by the way, here. So that's actually our level +1. So that's going to be a +2 for proficiency. I'm sorry, perception. And we have 150 silver pieces. All right, I guess let's just jump to chapter 6, and we'll spend some of that on like a shield, a weapon, and some armor of some kind, and that way we can play around with the numbers. All right, there are many varieties of armor, so we're going to spend some on... Oh, I guess this is just looking for a value. That's fine. Skills, equipment. Let's buy some scale mail. Its bulk is bulk in all capitals. Its bulk is 2. And then we have some other modifiers for this. Our dex cap is 4, but we don't need to worry about that because it's our dex is a +0. We are proficient. So that is going to give us a +1. And there is a check penalty for scale mail of -2. And so that's going to be to athletics and to acrobatics, as well as to stealth and to thievery. We do have a speed penalty of 5 feet, so our movement's down to 20 feet while we're wearing armor. And the item of scale mail itself is giving us a +3 to AC. And so this is going to be a +1 to touch. Our proficiency +0. And so that's going to give us a 14 AC and a 12 touch AC. I think I did that correctly. Our con is +2. Our dex is +0. And our will is wisdom based +1. So +2, +2, +4. Perception is wisdom based. So that's +1. So we have a +3 to our perception. Okay, let's go back now. Oh, we need to choose a shield and such first, or like a sword and a shield. Sorry about that. All right, now using a shield in this edition does cost you an action in order to raise the shield as part of your turn. Something to keep in mind. So this means that if we're gonna buy, I don't know, let's buy a heavy steel shield. We're going to subtract 20 silver pieces, so we're at 95. Heavy steel shield. Its bulk is 1. And this is going to further... Let's see. So we have a -3 on all of our check... or any skills in which armor check penalties accrue. And we're going to add our bonuses to... with our item then, so it's going to give us a 2 to AC and touch AC. So that's going to be a 5 and a 3, meaning that this is going to go up to a 16 and a 14. Now we need to buy a weapon of some kind. There are so many different weapons. I'm not going to go through them all. They all have different different traits and qualities to them. I would suggest that if this interests you, take some time and look over the different properties of the weapons. Sure, Sarah, what's up? There's no pretending, Sarah. There's no pretending that you're the rightful owner of Waterdeep. There are machinations that last lifetimes and unlifetimes that are in play. All right, and now we're going to give ourselves kind of a... It doesn't always have to be either or, Sarah. There is a third option. Right? You know, many people, you know, when they say flip a coin and we'll see where it lands, they often think that there are 2 sides to a coin, when in fact there are not. There are 3 sides to a coin, my dear. Maybe not a great sword if we're gonna be using our shield, Usher, But maybe we can go with a longsword. I guess we're just going to put strength +4. We are trained in it. Actually, we're an expert in it. So our proficiency is +2. This is 1d8 plus strength. And this can be either slashing or piercing. Or I guess what? It's slashing, and traits, it is versatile piercing. In this edition, yes, a longsword is one-handed, and versatile means you can get either slashing damage from it or piercing damage. Whereas in 5th edition D&D, versatile means you wield it in one hand for one damage die type, or two hands for another damage die type. No, I understand, Sarah. Some of the pictures you're posting, it looks like you've been, you've been traveling the world, or at least you got to return. Have you gotten to return home to Argentina? I hope you've been enjoying your summer vacation, though, and I appreciate you still spending some time with us here. It's really great of you to do, Sarah. How's your roleplay game? Have you gotten to roleplay with your group at all lately? Oh, Greatsword is also one-handed? So it is. Interesting. It just requires two hands. So it requires two hands, whereas the bastard sword up here requires. So this is kind of that. This is the versatile that is the D&D version, right? It only requires one hand, but if you wield it two-handed, then the damage goes up to a D12. Yeah, you've been questing IRL. No, that's how you find inspiration. That's how you come up with ideas. Look, the pictures you're sharing have been awesome. I'm really glad that you've been out into the world exploring and experiencing it. It makes you a really well-rounded individual, Sarah. Oh, that is amazing, Sarah. Yeah, I think you posted some of the snowboarding pictures in our around the world, or the world around us area. But you're going to be returning to Spain for your education, correct? Or how much longer do you have to study? Let's see, a longsword is 10 silver. So we're down to 85 now. And a longsword is 1 bulk. Oh, you're in Spain right now. Gotcha. Yeah, long vacations. You don't have to say if you don't want to, but you're going for... it was a nursing degree? Or was it like a dental? Was it dentistry? Or some kind of nursing, Sarah? Or am I completely incorrect in that? I do try to remember things about you all in the community. You know, who you are, what you do, the things you enjoy, etc. and so forth. Dentistry? Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we have some basic equipment. We've calculated our AC and our touch AC. And now... you think you have one up on the avocado, but as an organization, we're 10 steps ahead of you, Sarah. We knew that was going to happen, and so your best laid plans will not come to fruition because the infection that we were expecting has only accelerated the growth and mutated the avocados in a way that we best deemed fit. But we needed you and your skills and magics in order to complete the plan. Be careful about to whom you pledge an allegiance, Bubonic. Just because Sarah is anti-avocado doesn't make her the good guy in this. Nope, you cannot have Waterdeep. I'm sorry, Sarah Skywalker. Fill in the finishing details. I mean, we'll just put age 35. We'll flip a coin here and go odds, male, evens, female. Female. Alignment, neutral, good. Deity, the best one. Name is Rando Charizian. Character's maximum bulk determines how much weight she can comfortably carry. Total amount of bulk that exceeds 10 plus her strength modifier. Alright, so that is down here. This is 4. So the max is 14, and to be encumbered is 9, and our current bulk is 4. Your character usually begins each game session with 1 hero point and can gain more for reasons that I don't necessarily agree with. So let's put in our hero point. Melee strikes and range strikes, we've already calculated those out. Perception. Resonance. Your character Has a number of resonance points which allow her to use magic items. Your character's total resonance points are equal to her charisma modifier plus her level. Okay. Charisma is +0. Level is 1. Her resonance point total goes in the fields marked maximum and current. So right now we have no resonance. And we're not overspent. Actually, a group of pixies just showed up in our Tuesday RP session, Sarah. The one that we broadcast here. The party encountered about half a dozen pixies in a hot spring, and that's where we left off. Oh, okay, yeah. See you later, Sarah. Thank you for stopping by. It was good to hear from you again. And our saving throws. Although we still have our class DC to figure out. Whoops, not that one. Use to determine the difficulty class associated with your character's class features or feats. It's called your class DC. Okay, so we had strength or dex as a fighter. So we're going to use strength, and so our key is going to be a +4. So it's going to be a 15. We have 0 temporary hit points. And so now we have some totals. -2, +1, +2, +3, -1, -1, -1, +1. I guess we'll just put lore. Academia is a +3. But some other lore that we don't have or don't know is going to be at a +1 only. Medicine is going to be a +2. This is going to be a +0. +1. -1. +0. +3. -4 stealth. +0 survival. And -4 thievery. Oops. Did I? Oh, I did. Thank you. Thank you, Usher. Rogue's got to make certain mods to the character sheet provided as they get skill feats every level. All right, so here's a level 1 character in Pathfinder. So what we'll do is... Yeah, we're not going to have to worry about page 3. So what we'll do is I'm going to take a quick break here, about 10 minutes or so. And when I come back, we will level up this character and we'll go through the process. Maybe we'll bring it up to 20, kind of like what Bubonic One was talking about. And we'll do the math and such as we're comparing and contrasting here. So here's Pathfinder. Here's the standard issue character sheet for 5th edition. As you can see, it is not nearly as complicated. And here's the revamped version that we have been traditionally using for a long time now on the channel, which is a little bit more refined. It might look a little bit more confusing. But if we're comparing vanilla to vanilla, you can see that there's a lot more to keep track of here on the Pathfinder playtest. Is that good or bad? I have an opinion, but that might not be your opinion. That's really up to you. If this looks simple and elegant, if this looks, if this looks, it's not too bad. I don't mind the extra detail. Then hey, this is the system for you. This is a system about choices and detail. And we all have different tolerances for that, or different attitudes, or different biases. And if any of you out there disagree with any of my opinions, then you are welcome to do so. And I don't begrudge that. It's perfectly fine. And in fact, that's what creates awesome conversational opportunities, right? When we have differences, not when we're all thinking the same and acting the same. That's some robotic stuff. That's some group think, some kind of insular group or whatever. And that's that kind of thinking I try to avoid as best as I can. And that's part of why I really love interacting with you all on such a frequent basis here and on Discord. All right, so everyone, let's go. Take a potty break if you need to. Get some chips and salsa. Fill up your cup with some iced tea, maybe if it's a warm summer evening for you. And we'll meet back here in about 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you, everyone.